As I said earlier, today is Confirmation Sunday, and I want you to imagine 5 of our grade 8 students here today, and it's a very special day. In the Lutheran Church, Confirmation Sunday is a very important Sunday, as it is a way for these young people to affirm their baptism and to grow in their faith and to make affirmation of their faith before the congregation. I thought rather than doing this online, I think it's appropriate that we have our young people gathered in front of the congregation at a later date. And all of us are praying that this happens sooner rather than later, but it's not happening anytime soon. Potential date is Reformation Sunday, which is at the end of October. Hopefully we're back by then, but we'll see how this plays out. In the gospel reading, Jesus talks about the entering the sheep gate, and he says the sheep hear the shepherd's voice, and they know the shepherd's voice. And this morning, at this time of my career, I see a real change in our young people. And I think a lot of it has to do with the multimedia and the social media that's taking place. And almost all of our students at one time or another have been bullied. And most of it is cyberbullying, where people make fun or they say hurtful things, or they exclude others through the email or through texting and other kinds of social media. And they can have as many rules and laws as they want for bullying. Bullies don't know that that's what they're doing, but it can be very hurtful and destructive for our young people. In our community of Regina and surrounding areas, in probably the last 5 or 6 years, there have been numerous suicides of people this same age, 13, 14, or 15. And almost always, some of our young people are acquainted and know these people, some intimately, and some have just heard about them. And it shakes these young people by their roots. And it makes all of us wonder, how could somebody at this age feel so in despair and with no hope that they have to believe they have to take their lives? I believe it's because of the voices that they are listening to. When we listen to the voices of other young people who are struggling in their own lives, and it's a very difficult journey that they're going through, it's not often that they're going to say positive and words that are upbuilding and very positive and affirming. It's often negative and hurtful things, a reflection of what's going on in their own lives. And when we hear these negative words enough, we begin to believe these words and believe that this is my life and this is how I truly am. Jesus says, "My sheep hear my voice." And what is the voice of Jesus? What are the words that Jesus is saying to us as opposed to the words that the world is saying to us? The words that Jesus says to us are very powerful, upbuilding words, powerful words of love, acceptance, and inclusion. I love you completely and unconditionally. You will never be separated from me. You are my sheep. You are my family. I love you completely. These are the words that Jesus speaks to us. But how many of our young people hear these words? They hear negative and critical comments from their peers. They also hear that from teachers and coaches and siblings and parents. Any parent who's listening out there, be careful about the words that you use with your children. And be careful about being angry with your children. There's hardly any good that comes from angry words that you share with your children, because they interpret it that they are dumb, they are stupid, they are not worthy of love and praise. And they carry that with them for a long time. The words that Jesus speaks are the words that we should speak. Words of affirmation. It's often been said that before you say a critical or a negative thing to your child, you should say 10 positive things. I know as a parent that's not going to happen. But if you say 1 or 2 or 3 affirmations before you say one critical thing, that's a very powerful message for our young people. What are the words that you are listening to? If you're watching the news all day, you are hearing negative, critical, destructive words about what's happening in our world, about sickness and death and about the future of our economy, etc. We can't just listen to these messages. We have to listen to the affirmations, the positive message that are out there in the world. And many things that are coming across my email are some of these very positive and affirming messages. You have to use the affirming messages yourself. When this isolation started, I changed my mantra and that I use every morning, and I changed it, I am strong, or God gives me strength. God is my strength. Any word with strong or strength in it. And when you use those words enough, you begin to believe those words. If you reject those other words and you don't listen to them, they have no power over you. The words of God should ring in our ears, that we will never be separated from His love. He loves us completely and unconditionally. You are special. You may be different, but you are important. And that difference is what I gave you. And I am pleased with you, and I love you completely. What is the voice that we are listening to? And if we're around people that are always negative and always giving us destructive, negative messages, it's time for us to push those words away and to listen to the words of God and to listen to the words of affirmation about how awesome and amazing you are, how truly loved you are, and special, and that God is with you. Amen.